What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having yourselves a great weekend so far. About to come to an end. Enjoying myself a little bit of March Madness, throwing a little bit of money down, trying to win a little bit. So, thought I'd hop on real quick. Thank you all for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I, of course, am your host, Jimmy Smith. So if you have any questions, any comments you want to throw my way, please feel free. But tonight, I was actually just watching the Sixers game as well. So that was halftime. 1-point lead. Joel Embiid out. It's been something. But hey, they've been pulling it together. Been quite interesting. But we're here to talk a little bit about the Birds. But we're going to talk about our opponents in the NFC East as well. So tonight's question is, who is the most improved team in the NFC East? And I'd love to hear your thoughts if you have any opinions on who you think the most improved is. And here I just have some of the top free agents picked up by these teams. Obviously, the Eagles grabbing Anthony Harris. Fantastic move we talked about the last couple of days. Really ecstatic about that move. But yeah, the other teams have definitely added some talent. So I just want to take a quick look at that. Also, a little bit of news just came out right before I came on. We all know we released DeSean Jackson. That was going to happen. Obviously, a failed attempt to bring him back. Just injuries, couldn't get back on the field. But he is heading over to good old Los Angeles. Now he will be a Ram, going to join that wide receiving core. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. Hey, look, I think, if he could stay healthy, he could still provide something to that offense. So best of luck to him. They got Matthew Stafford there, so much better quarterback than Jared Goff. I'm very intrigued to see how that offense looks, but we'll see if he stays healthy. Best of luck to you, DeSean Jackson. Anyway, so back to the question at hand. You guys can feel free to let me know who you think the most improved is. But in my mind, the Giants, they are definitely lacking on offense. They added some pieces to the offense that I think is definitely going to vastly improve them. They dealt with some injuries as well. Clearly, Saquon Barkley coming back will be huge for them. But Washington, man, they added Fitzpatrick. Look, he's like 38 years old. I'm not too worried about it. But adding Curtis Samuel with Terry McLaurin, it's very nice. We'll see what they do in the draft. I know they have Taylor Heineke there. But we're going to get into the additions and losses of these teams here in a second. But just looking at those top additions there, there's some pretty good ones by each team. So it has to be the Giants here. Look, the Giants definitely made some great additions. And even, as I just mentioned, Saquon Barkley coming back and clearly Daniel Jones. We'll see if he has progressed at all. But, the Giants, we can get into the Giants. Why don't we do that? Just because the first comment is on the Giants. So let's take a gander here at some of the losses by the Giants. You can see that, not many too big name. They had a running back carousal going on there. Devontae Freeman, Alfred Morris, Wayne Gallman, all heading to the free agent market. Saquon Barkley being back, that's a huge one for them. We'll talk about their addition in a second, Devontae Booker. But lost a couple pieces. Kevin Zeitler on the line. Then on the defensive line, you lose Dalvin Tomlinson. So a couple losses there for him. Not a big deal, though. But you look at the Giants' additions here. Yeah, I would have to agree with you that they definitely made some really good moves. You see the highlighted players here that are shown: Kenny Galladay, John Ross, Kyle Rudolph, and then Devontae Booker, a nice little insurance piece, RB2 to Saquon Barkley. Can come in and spell him every now and again, but God forbid something were to happen. Yeah, Devontae Booker definitely proved what kind of back he was in Oakland. So, adding to that receiving core, Kenny Galladay, what a fantastic pickup by them, son of a. Yeah, it's going to be wild to watch Darius Slay versus Galladay. Then John Ross. Don't think he's too much to worry about, but you add him to that offense, he could provide something, provided he stays healthy. So we'll see. And then Kyle Rudolph with Evan Ingram, obviously a much better blocking tight end than Evan Ingram, whereas he's much more the receiving tight end. So you see that, they've definitely added to their offense. Now on defense, they're pretty good, and franchise tagging and then working out a deal with Leonard Williams. Smart move, adding Reggie Ragland like that move. Adenabia, whatever. That's great. They've definitely improved. So I think that's a team that is going to be fighting for this division. A lot of injuries, a lot of little things that really hindered a lot of these teams in this division where it was a slop fest. But think they're going to be pretty damn good. Dory Jackson, I know he visited with New York, but then he posted today on his Instagram that he loved Philly. So must have had a good time. I know that it was his mom's birthday, but then he was going to visit with the Eagles. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe he signs with the Birds. Maybe he goes to the Giants. But decent, kind of falling off slot corner. We'll see what you could maybe revive from him. I know Jonathan Gannon, a lot of great work with secondary guys. So maybe he could work out here. I know he's a good return man as well. So I wouldn't be against bringing in Dory Jackson, but yeah, I don't want the Giants to get him. So either way, we'll see what happens there. But yes, he was visiting both teams. Then when you go down the list, we were mentioning Washington a little bit. You see Washington here. Thomas Davis retired. Ronald Darby, they lost. Not a big deal because they replaced him, but Broncos giving Darby some money there. Pretty wild. But I thought Washington had such a good defense that maybe it made Ronald Darby look a little better than he was. But hey, good for him. Go get that money. Alex Smith, they let him go. You obviously know we just showed a picture a second ago. We'll talk about in a minute here, Ryan Fitzpatrick. But Alex Smith, getting rid of that veteran leadership. What a great story he has had, though. Maybe someone the Eagles could be interested in coming in and tutoring. Jalen Hurts, not so sure what kind of money he'll demand. We'll see there. But yeah, and then Ryan Kerrigan, we'll see what happens with him and Ryan Anderson. But the guys they added, wow. Washington is another team that vastly improved. Now, again, I don't think Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Eagles obviously have had their struggles with him, but I don't think that's something I'm going to lose sleep over. But adding Fitzpatrick and Curtis Samuel to that offense, I think it bodes well for them. Bringing Brandon Scherf back on that franchise tag, Tyler Larson as well, making sure they can protect, their quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick or Heineke, whatever it is. Bringing Lamar Miller back, I believe he had a little stint there at the end of the year. And then on defense, taking David Mayo away from the Giants, but the big name there is William Jackson. Man, what a damn good corner. Obviously playing for the Bengals gets a little overlooked there, but I think William Jackson is a phenomenal corner. And look, he obviously is joining a very good Washington football team. Almost said it, Washington football team. And, replacing Darby with William Jackson, that's pretty nasty. So that defense is only going to get better. That's concerning, very concerning for me. Young's only going to get better. I think they're going to obviously try to win the division again, back-to-back, but that's hard to do in the NFC East. We talked about the Giants, who was first mentioned with the comments there by SFG. And look, I think the Giants definitely improved. Galladay is a huge addition. But then you talk about what Washington just did. I think, they're definitely going to compete with a defense like that. You're always going to compete. But I think that, they have some good young running backs. They have, McKissick and Gibson. That's quite an interesting 1-2 punch there. But we'll see what they do. Obviously, the draft's coming up. So we're just talking about right after this first initial wave of free agency here. But some intriguing moves that were definitely made. And we talk about the Cowboys here. Losing Dalton to the Bears, Cam Irving, their swing tackle, to the Panthers. They replaced him. Blake Bell going to the Chiefs, Joe Thomas to Houston Texans, and then Awuzie going to the Bengals. I think, that's a big loss for them, one of their better players in that secondary. So big loss for them. I don't know if that's an upgrade for the Bengals, though, losing William Jackson. So too bad for them, but William Jackson going to Washington, damn. But, the Cowboys, they did bring back a couple corners of theirs, C.J. Goodwin, more of a special teams guy, and then Jordan Lewis. So brought a couple guys back in their secondary, brought in a long snapper from the Rams, long time, but Jim Fossil being there, a long time relationship with not only him, but their kicker Zerline as well. So, and I believe they have the punter too that used to be with the Rams. So getting the whole Rams connection down there. But on the offensive side of the ball, and obviously they need to improve. Let's not jump over the defense. They are terrible on defense. But they added a defensive line, adding Basham from the Jets, Carlos Watkins. You see a picture there, big boy. Going to play more of a defensive tackle role for the Cowboys, I do believe. But that's a good addition by them. Brent Urban from the Bears probably play more of a defensive tackle role for them as well. I think, trying to bolster that lineup. They were terrible last year. Keanu Neal, great addition by them, I think. Obviously, He's following over his old coach, Dan Quinn, who is now the Cowboys defensive coordinator. So what a damn good addition by them, but not sure that takes them over the hump they need to get on defense. We'll see what they do in the draft. Definitely need to address the corner position for them. But they got some good linebackers. Not sure if they see him in a hybrid role. They got some safeties. We'll see. But, yeah, you can line him up all over the place. He's really damn good. Offensive side of the ball, I think, obviously getting Dak Prescott back from injury, that's huge. And then signing him to that 4-year contract, $160 million can be up to $164. That's pretty nice money for a guy that just got injured. Don't like to see anyone get hurt. So best of luck to him. Just don't want to see him win. Now, Ty and Seki, I believe it is, and Seki, whatever it is, he literally not much of a starter there, but a guy they're adding, trying to add some depth there. They lost their swing tackle and Cam Irving. That'll be more of his role. So Cowboys still have a lot of holes to fill as well. They dealt with a lot of offensive line injuries, just like we did last year, although we set a bunch of records. So it was quite ridiculous. But yeah, Prism, my man, thanks for tuning in. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. But Prism, dude, just talking about that. Scary Terry and Curtis Samuel back together again after their time in Ohio State, now in Washington. And apparently, this was something that Ron Rivera was trying to make happen last year too. So big move for them, adding in Curtis Samuel to this offense. And I think Fitzpatrick's going to be able to work some of that crazy Fitz magic. So hopefully we could stop him. Obviously, the Eagles struggle with Fitzmagic nonstop, but having receivers like that and then Gibson and McKissick coming out of the backfield, that's a pretty nasty combination. So we'll see what they do in the draft here, but so far, not so bad. But out of those teams, I think I would have to say that, who is the most improved, as in like the talent they added. Oh, that's a tough one. I think for me, it's between New York and Washington. I think, Washington added a lot of players. They added a number one corner. They replaced Darby with William Jackson. That's got to be, accounted for. I think Curtis Samuel, what a playmaker he is. Then you add yourself, an older quarterback, but somebody that can definitely help groom somebody, whether that's Heineke or whatever they do in the draft. So maybe I go with Washington here. I know Galladay is amazing, and John Ross is decent, and Kyle Rudolph. And Devontae Booker, but I'll go with Washington. I think that they are the most improved when it comes to free agency. Now, like I said, we have the draft coming up, so I'm not saying that's the best team in the NFC East, but I do feel when it comes to the most improved, you're looking at the Washington football team, a team with no name. But yeah, bringing back Scherf and Larson, great moves by them. And then obviously their kicker too, ensuring their kick game is taken care of. We are not doing that with our punter. We let Cam Johnson go to the Texans, so son of a bitch. Imagine those two with Gibson and running back a draft Kyle. But yeah, if Kyle Pitts falls to them, I don't think he falls that far in the draft, but maybe they trade up. Maybe something happens. But yeah, that would be crazy. We'll see who they get to add. I'm not sure where they address it, but I'm sure they probably will address offense. They've got a lot of talent on that defensive side of the ball. So yikes. But when it comes to the Eagles, let's talk a little bit about them. Obviously, we know they didn't make the most moves, but that wasn't the goal here. We had to restructure, get rid of a lot of guys, and make sure that the money was right for the draft coming up and a couple moves that we were going to be able to make. And we talked about 1-year deals for some of these guys that are going to bet on themselves and then bet on some of the, big money that's going to be there next year when the salary cap goes up. So before we get into the additions, let's talk about some of the losses for the Eagles. Just happened right for the show, but DeSean Jackson with the Rams, we talked about it earlier. And then you talk about the rest of these guys probably not going to re-sign, maybe Richard Rodgers. But other than that, Nate Gary, thank God. Nikel Roby-Coleman did not work out like I thought it would. Strap, wouldn't mind seeing him back. But on the right side, you see guys that are already with new teams. Carson Wentz obviously traded. We know that. Malik Jackson, Duke Riley, Rudy Ford, Jalen Mills, Cam Johnson, all found new homes. So the Eagles lose those players. And then when it comes to additions, we brought back Adrian Killins this year and then Hassan Ridgeway from last year as well. And then Anthony Harris and Andrew Adams replacing the Rudy Ford and Jalen Mills losses. And I think those are quite the upgrades. A guy that just won the Super Bowl, guy that's quite the special teams ace, I think is quite the replacement for Rudy Ford. And then Anthony Harris, a guy that in 18 and 19 was the PFF top graded, and whatever, you can hold those numbers to whatever account you want to, but the guy was still pretty damn good in coverage. Let's just say that. Obviously, last year he struggled. That whole damn team struggled. I think a lot of people don't look into that when, a guy has to play, I think it was 94.6% of the snaps. He's doing everything. Malcolm Jenkins, per se, for the Vikings. But I'd love to see him do that same thing here. Excited to have him. We all know the Rodney McLeod injury. We only have, Marcus Epps, Graylin Arnold, obviously Kayvon Wallace, a fourth-round pick last year. But, yeah, adding to the secondary depth, love to see that. But we talked about don't get too excited in this free agency period because we weren't going to be able to make that many moves. So the moves we did make, I'm still excited about. So the Eagles, obviously not the most improved team, but I do feel very, very happy about that Anthony Harris move. It's been the Eagles' best signing. Thinking he's a good bounce back here. Me too. And the thing is, he spent time with Jonathan Gannon from the beginning of his career, 2015 to 2017. So for 3 years, he spent with Jonathan Gannon. And then when it comes to the whole Philly fitting in thing, Rodney McLeod and he used to be teammates back in 2011 in Virginia. So that helps him feel a little more at home as well. And I think this guy is going to be Philly made. Love the dreads, love the long hair. I think he's going to come out here. And obviously, I think he had 6 missed tackles in 3 years from 17 to 19. And then last year he had 10. So it's concerning. He struggled at tackling and in coverage, which were two things he was actually pretty damn good at. So I think if you look deeper into it and see what the struggles were with the Vikings as a whole, with a whole new secondary, 3 new corners, this guy taking up so much more responsibilities, I just think that, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. And I think that him coming to the Eagles is going to be beneficial to him. Coming back with Jonathan Gannon, I think obviously Gannon probably played a part in that, wanted him here. So excited to see Anthony Harris suit up in an Eagles uniform. So great replacement for Jalen Mills. Let's just look at it that way, And I like Jalen Mills, and I thought he did pretty damn good for his first year at where he should have been for years, but because of injury, couldn't been safety. Now Jalen Mills goes to the Patriots to play whatever the hell he's gonna, hybrid role, I'm sure. Bill Belichick probably loves a guy like him, so son of a I hate the Patriots. Anyway, quite the upgrade. So very happy about Anthony Harris. And then Andrew Adams, that's an upgrade from Rudy Ford. So people can be, signing sucks, but it's look, dude, we got the draft coming up. And that, to me, is where I am the most excited. So we got the confirmed picks, finally figured out what the hell that last one was that we got back from the Niners, because I saw 5 effing different reports about what the pick was. But we have our 11 picks here. We knew what the top ones were, but a little mixed up at the bottom. It is 240, that last pick. 4 picks, 4 of those picks in the top 84. You love to see that. 4 picks in the top 3 rounds. I love it, man. Pick 6, pick 37, 70, and 84. Acquired, obviously, that 84th pick from the Colts in the Carson Wentz trade. I think, man, you could really add some talent. There is a lot of talent in this draft. That I could pick 84 guys that I would definitely take on this team. So excited about this draft would be an understatement. But even in the later rounds, I know we don't have a 4th-round pick yet. Would be nice to see the Eagles try to acquire that 4th-round pick for Zach Ertz. If you get that, that'd be great. We'll see if you can get anything for Zach Ertz. Look like the market is dying a little bit for tight end. You see a lot of signings going down, so we'll see. But 3 picks in the 6th round, 2 picks in the 7th round. I'm excited about it, man. I want to see these birds. I know they're going to be younger. I know there's going to be some growing pains, young coaches, young players. But some of these veteran players stuck around with restructured contracts. And I think things will be a lot different than most people think. I don't think it's going to be as bad as everyone thinks it's going to be. So let's strap in. It's going to be a fun season. At least we'll have the excitement of the unknown. So all I strap in for is to see my birds win on Sunday. I know that's what you guys tune in for. So let's just hope that this young team surprises us. Maybe they come out of nowhere, just start beating some ass. So just trying to be positive here and see the best in it. But we'll see what they do in the draft before we get ahead of ourselves. But just wanted to take a gander, see who your guys' thoughts were about the NFC East. But I think Washington right now is the most improved. But Giants, they definitely stacked up. Cowboys, nice addition to Keanu Neal. Signing Dak was a smart move. But love the signings by the Eagles too. So Anthony Harris, a great move by the Birds. I'm excited about this year, man. I know the whole debacle with Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson being gone, it sucks. And I hate that all that stuff happened. And we talked about, it wasn't just Howie's fault. It was Carson. And we heard from Carson himself. He said he gave up on this team during the Packers game. So it's crazy, that all this stuff happened, but it's over. Who cares? QB one time, Jalen Hurts. We'll see what they do in the draft. But for now, Let's ride with Hurts. Let's ride with our birds. Let's see where we go from here, baby. And I think, that's pretty much all for tonight, though. Hold on. We got one more question. I'm always down for more questions. So if you have anything before I roll out, please feel free to throw it my way. You got a few more questions, toss them in there. Always down for it. Do I think they actually use Reagor to his strengths? Great question, Prism. And one thing that I've been bringing up over and over again because of the fact that Doug Peterson did not use Jalen Reagor to his strengths, and it pissed me off to no end. You know that because I love Jalen Reagor. I know you love Jalen Reagor. I know you are a TCU fan, and I know that you expected more. I expected more. A lot of the fans expected more. And when you watch someone like Justin Jefferson going off, who the Eagles passed on, that pisses a lot of people off. So, yes, I do expect Nick Sirianni, to answer your question, to use him. I think he's going to use a lot of people. I think he's going to run the ball with Miles Sanders. That's going to open a lot of these things up. I think Jalen Hurts is going to throw the ball to Reagor. I think if you go after someone like Jamar Chase or if he's there, or Devontae Smith or Kyle Pitts, Jalen Waddle, whoever it is, that's going to make this offense just even better. There's so many good weapons you could add with Reagor, Fulgham, Ward, Goddard, Miles Sanders. This offense is loaded. So, dude, I understand people think, oh, it doesn't have anybody. I think it does. And I think Reagor is one of those pieces. Just got to use him correctly. We did not do that at all last year. Doug Peterson did not do that. So, hopeful. Very hopeful that we find a way to use Reagor, and I think people are going to be and look, we talked about this in Aguilar's third year when I said we should, at least give him a chance in that third year. Sometimes it takes a receiver 3 years. And, I said I think he could have a breakout year. A lot of people did not like that. He did. We won the Super Bowl. So maybe Reagor, let him get his feet wet a little bit. We didn't have the offseason was ridiculous last year. We didn't have a preseason. So these guys were thrown in the fire. DeSean Jackson was supposed to be here to teach him up. Alshon Jeffrey to teach up, essentially Arthega-Whiteside, but became Fulgham in that X receiver spot. So guys had to stay healthy this year. That's what it comes down to. And obviously the coaches got to utilize these players and have the right kind of practice where they're not getting guys hurt for year in, year out, year after year. Ridiculous. Year after year. Just ridiculous. Hoping that they stay healthy. Hopefully this young team comes out hungry. Just Howie, draft the right guys, draft the guys that are ready to play some football. And I think we'll get some excitement back here in Philadelphia. So hope you guys had yourselves a great weekend. I myself did. And hopefully your brackets are going well and your bets and all that other great stuff. But if you need anything, you can always reach out to me, whether it be about football, anything in life, doesn't matter. But I'm going to get rolling out, watch the rest of the Sixers game, the March Madness. I'll be back tomorrow, though, with any Eagles news. If it's breaking, I'll jump on quick. But if not, I'll be back tomorrow night. All right, guys, have yourselves a good one. Thank you so much for tuning in, liking, subscribing, retweeting, all that stuff that you guys do. Truly appreciate your support. You're awesome. Prism, SFG, everybody that tuned in, you guys are truly awesome. Thank you. Love you all. Have yourself a great night. And as always, go Birds!